a big fan of practical and reasonably priced tools. I just have a thing for tools, and I've always been a Milwaukee guy. I'll get into that story in another video, but I recently partnered with them, which is fantastic. They send me some new tools, I use them in my shop, give them a quick review, and pass on what I've learned. The Milwaukee M12 tire inflator is one of the dark horses for me so far this year. I've been blown away by this little thing. It's just this guy. I didn't think much of it when I got it, but holy cow, what this thing can do is pretty impressive. So far, I've been using it around the house for my kids to fill up footballs and bike tires and things like that, but I moved on to filling up my car tires, and then I took a jump and tried to fill up one of my 40s, and it worked. So I took it on my most recent trip to the John Bull Trail. It pumped up 2 of my tires from 10 psi to 35 psi. It is awesome. So check this video out. I'm going to show you guys how it works. It's just a cool little tool to grab and throw in your toolbox and take one with you to the trail. Merricks Garage. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, that's pretty even. So let's set this to, we'll set it to 38. So it did it. Let's see if it'll do it back to back. Just one of these guys. So 2 amp hours. Yeah, so far I'm pretty impressed with this little guy. So this was at 15 psi, and now it is at 38 psi, and it is a 40-inch 1350/17. So it is a huge tire. I think it's a 1350. Yep, 1350. That's massive. And it did it just fine. So you can see I'm half battery, so this one was pretty low. Let's go hit the other one, which I know is not as low. Well, there it is. Very impressive. All 4 tires from roughly 32 psi to 38, and 1 tire from 15 to 38. Now it did end up, if truth be told, I used this 4 amp hour battery and this, which is a 2 amp hour. So it went through, this was about half full when I started using it, so I'd say it probably went through about 4 amp hours. Okay, so let's be honest here. This thing is not going to get you off the trail. It's not going to inflate 4 tires from 8 psi to 35 psi, you know, if they're much over 35 inches. Whoa, slow your roll, Mr. Merricks Garage. Why don't we go try it? John Bull trip. Okay, so I knew I was asking a lot of it, filling up, yep, and my axle seal is going. I knew I was asking it a lot to fill up this tire, but it just took it from 6 psi to 29, and it did the other one too. But yeah, that maxed it out. It's now over temperature. I'll just finish with my compressor. But what it can do is pretty incredible. I am blown away by this thing. I was not expecting this at all. I thought it was just going to be a fun tool to have in the shop for the kids to inflate their toys and wheels on their bikes and stuff like that. But being able to put it on, push a button and walk away. I am for sure carrying this with me on trail runs. No, I am not going to use it to pump up all my tires. I don't want to be carrying, 3-4 batteries for it, if it would take that many. I'm still going to use my air compressor that is part of my Warren power plant. But for basic stuff, like being able to put the tires on my car, my wife's car, just put in a PSI, push a button, and walk away. That is awesome. It's part of the Milwaukee ecosystem, so it's going to use the M12 batteries, and the battery that I have on there right now is a 4 amp hour battery. That's significant. That's some serious juice that is packed in a tiny, tiny little battery. This thing didn't overheat pushing these tires up, it didn't falter, and it's only used, for pumping up one tire from 15 psi to 38 and one tire from 33 to 38 psi. I think it's used about 2/3 of a battery. So I'm gonna throw it on the rest and see if it can finish on this battery. But pretty impressive.